No. See, a lot of people wonder why I don't drink, I don't do drugs or anything like that. And honestly, I have a pretty active, stupid imagination. Have you ever had a Whopper or a burger right before bed? I'm saying, like right before you go to sleep. Now, let's say you're sitting in bed, your wife's there reading, the Notebook, some fucking, what's the book that vampire with the glittery shit? Let's say she's reading that, and you're like, I want to have a burger. So you have a burger, and then you just go right to bed. Try that like tonight. Have a burger, cheese, onions, mayo, and ketchup, like a Whopper, and go to bed. You will have the most fucked up lucid dreams ever. Like the most fucked up lucid crazy dreams that you'll ever have. I remember, I don't know, maybe about 2 years ago, I was just a slob. I was just like, you'll get a fucking double Whopper with cheese, man. Fuck, it was like 10:30 at night. I brought it home. I ate watching TV, and I just ate it. Didn't even brush my teeth or nothing, and it just went right to bed. And dude, I had the most crazy fucked up dreams. Thank you, Forbidden Concepts, for verifying that I sound okay. And I was like, wow. So yesterday I had like another set of fucked up dreams. But what the fuck did I eat right before bed? I don't think I ate anything crazy, but I was like, whoa, this is fucked up. Like I had crazy dreams to the point where something was happening in the dream that made me cross my feet. Like maybe I had a bug bite and I kept scratching it. And in my dream, I kept scratching it, but I ended up like rubbing my foot fucking raw. It was just a big fucking chunk of my foot that's just like the skin's missing. I'm like, whoa, I'm not having anything crazy before bed tonight. Okay, guys, how you doing? Episode 36, and we're going to talk a little shit about, oh gosh, John Lund is on already. John Lund was driving to Keith Ray's place to drop off the Grey Goose. Get some badass shit going. So real quick, the subject has come up a lot lately about roll racing versus dig racing. Now, honestly, I'm at the point right now where I don't really have an opinion either way. I've roll raced plenty. I've digged or dug. It's past tense, so wouldn't it be dug race? So it ended up kind of making me wonder, okay, so in the area that you live in, let's say if you live in Kansas City, Oklahoma, why the fuck would you ever live there? But let's say you do. Let's say you somehow end up being dropped in the middle of the country and you're fucking stuck there. And dig racing is life. Like dig racing is fucking life. I understand because your area is mostly dig racing stuff. But if you live anywhere like Florida, unless you're in North Florida, which is not really Florida, it's like Georgia, like anything above Port St. Lucie. It's South Georgia. I'm telling you, you cannot find a dig race to save your life. So what do you do? If you want to race somebody, you have to see what's available in your area and build your car based on that. If you're in Houston and you want a dig race, good luck finding a badass dig race spot that you have to trailer your car to. Luckily, I've started seeing on YouTube that there's these things called the no trailer nationals or the no trailer cash days, where the whole point of the race is you can't trailer your shit anywhere. You go to a spot, you race. I think the first round usually takes place at one spot, then you go to another place, and then you got to drive your shit there and race there. I think that's such a cool concept, almost like True Street, where I still think True Street in NMRA form and Mod Nationals form is still very good, but the problem is less and less likely that street cars actually are in that event and win it. It's really a race car that can just happen to make the 30-mile cruise and bust everybody's fucking ass in the True Street class. And it's just like, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to hate on them, but that makes it less and less likely that people like me, like the regular guy who can build a halfway decently quick car that is a street car first and then a race car second, would even want to get in there. And now people like NMRA are like, You got to have a 10 point, a 6. Fuck. If you're going to build a street car with a 10 point, you want to knock your head on the front bar. You can't wait to knock your head on that fucking front bar. But in Florida, if you want to grab a race on a Wednesday or Tuesday night down in Boynton Beach, roll is the only shit you're going to find. And the only place you're going to find a dig race anywhere in my area, excuse me, it's the track. Plain and simple. So, is it gay? No, it's not gay. Cars nowadays come with triple the horsepower that they did back in the day. And a lot of you guys can drive them anywhere. A GTR can be driven anywhere. A Supra, a modern Mustang, ZR1 Corvette, any fucking generation. They come with, you can make them make 900, 1,000 like nothing. If you're not making 1,000, you ain't shit. So that means I ain't shit. And if you're out there cruising and you come across a race that's desirable to you, you do a 40 or 60 or whatever, you don't want to do all the work to have a big tire underneath the car, all the weight biased towards the rear, a ton of suspension work. You just want a nice car you can drive. It has a shitload of power, and roll racing is desirable for many. Now, if you go to Texas 2K and you have a badass roll race car, you are more likely to have fun during Texas 2K because everybody else is roll racing. If you come to Texas 2K with a trailer and look for dig races, you're going to pretty much spend a lot of your time hauling that car all over the city. I mean, hauling the car all over the city. Unless your car is badass shit and you can actually dig race the car and drive around and look for a dig spot, do your thing and get out. But that's not likely. Usually the really fast guys trailer their shit to a spot, unload, get a dig race in, and if it's broken up by the cops, now you got to do it all over again. Whereas roll race guys go anywhere on, 290, 295, I forget what it's called, one of the beltways, and they just sit there, and you want to go, they all roll out in a pack, and then they all take turns racing each other, stop at an E85 station, fill up, do it again, and they could do that shit till 6 in the morning as long as their shit doesn't break. So plain and simply, that's the reason a lot of people find it more desirable to, build a roll race car or have a roll race car. Jack Mehoff says, you coming to PBIR Slicks and Radios tomorrow? I wasn't even aware that was a thing. Now, tomorrow I'm going to go to Drive Shack with the guys at Power by the Hour and hit some golf balls. I didn't even know that Slicks and Drag Radios were starting up again. Now that I know that, I might go the following week. Get some paid questions out of the way. So, do you think roll racing is gay? And if it is, why? Do you think dig racing is better than roll racing? Why? Or do you like both? I'm one of those guys that I like both. I want to grab my white car, go out there and this car, the red car, when it was making 900 plus wheel, that bitch was fucking great everywhere. But I caught more races rolling here in Florida than any dig shit. Nobody was willing to do any dig shit. One, the roads aren't concrete here. They're asphalt. There aren't any prep spots. And no one's really looking to dig race in this spot. The Fairmont, no one even attempts to race that car, even from a roll. And it's super disappointing. A Tesla dude the other day, a Tesla P100D from a roll was like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, there isn't really a good spot to do it. There was a shitload of traffic, but that was the only car that attempted to at least race me. Traffic did not let us do it. Get to the paid questions quick. Bondo Bird says, roll racing is for flat earthers. Done. Thanks for that. That's very good. Oh, shit. Jake Brewer. Digs only. Make street racing great again. Casey Godzilla. You tuned my stock 1750 with the flex tune today. Just wanted to say thank you. And what should I do? 18 manifold or cat delete? Free flow and exhaust. That's what we call it here. Garrett Smith says, both are fun to me. I don't understand the hate on either. Same here. I used to make fun of roll racing shit as YOLO douchebag, but when it comes to actually having some fun doing some rolls with friends, it's pretty desirable. Jack Mehoff, you coming to PBR 6 and radios tomorrow? I already answered that. And hey, Alex, how can I read timing on my SCT tuner King Yodi 550? It'll be under Spark. Just scroll to the Spark PID and select it. Don't look at Spark Advanced V2. Don't look at any Spark or SAFTOT, SAFTOT. All right, so Tall Starlight. What a name. You need a pop filter for your mic because my subs are shaking the house. It's foundation hard to, and I had to unplug them. There you go. Sorry, it's not my fault. I don't need any filter. Fuck you. Actually, I was thinking of doing that, but honestly, 90% of the people, and if you look at the analytics of my channel, 90% of the people actually listen to me on their cell phones. Very rarely does someone actually sit down on the couch with their smart TV and actually, listen to me on their home stereo system. Why? Because you probably have kids, and I'm out there saying, fuck shit, finger your asshole, and oh my God, my kid. And I'm like, the show is called Talking Shit. It's gay because the guy on the front lets off when the car starts catching up, but only posts the part before it creeps. That's the other thing. I've seen specifically one GT500 owner roll racing everybody up in the Northeast, and he lets off hard when the car's about to put the gap on him. And I'm like, why do people do that? Like, if somebody beats me, I'm going to stay in it until, if we did not agree to a end, we don't have GPS and we don't, let's wait 40 to 140. So if you're dead even, door to door, nobody's letting off. So what happens? You just stay in it. But I see a lot of these guys go, whoa, and when the other car's doing one of these, about to just roll them out, like, stretch them out, boom, this car slams on the brake. I'm like, why are you slamming on the brakes? Stay in it. Let's see how much of a gap that car put on you. No, they do 140 and they slam on the brakes and they go, I was ahead of you when we hit 140. Right, and this car was literally passing you like nobody's business and about to gap the shit out of you, and then you slam on the brakes as if to say, 140, that's what we agreed to. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Jay Rubin says, Jay, you got a lot of time on your hands, Jay Rubin. Pop filter's still good. It makes you sound clearer when you use words with T, B, and P in them. Okay, so how about fuck you? How does that sound with your pop filter? I think the allure of my show is that I really don't care. This is just to talk some shit. It's literally to talk some shit. In my opinion, Dylan Giles says, most people that hate on roll racing have slow cars. I agree with that, because if I build myself a nice street car, I'm saying a really nice street car, something that is clean, nice wheels on it, it rides good, because look, if you have a worked suspension in a Mustang, it drives like shit. I don't care what anybody says. Any worked suspension in a Mustang drives like shit. So you want to just, like, I drive my white Mustang around. It is fucking great. Nothing done except some springs. So I'm just going to throw some drag radials in it, make 800, 900, and roll on the guys at that power level. Right? That car will never be a dig car, meaning I'm going to put all the suspension, the catalog shit in it, some Steeda stuff. No, I'm not doing anything. I want it to drive like stock and make a shitload of power. So technically, the white car would be a race car. A roll race car only, or something you could take on a track day and turn, stop, do everything. So I'm not going to hate on a guy that has a specific roll race setup. It's just not. I'm just going to hate on him. Everyone's like, fuck you. Because I guess I popped into the mic really loud. I don't know why you guys listen to me that loud, like that closely. I gapped an Aventador at 160, Pro Charger for the win. Well, then Tony, tell him the rest of the story, that you had to pull over to pick up your crank, and then, you have to beg Pro Charger for another supercharger unit, a tensioner that wasn't a piece of shit, and a blow-off valve that didn't sound like you're dragging cardboard. That, he doesn't tell you the whole story, but he blew it up. His crank flew right out of the fucking motherfucker. Kevin Builds, what's up, dude? Come to Hialeah, Florida to drag race. I'm not going anywhere near Hialeah. I went to Hialeah one time, and I went to a Dunkin' Donuts, and I ordered coffee in English, and the guy looked at me like I had 15 heads. Hialeah is not for me. But I bet you there is some dig racing down there, but I'm not going to go all the way to Hialeah. Number one, they'll steal my shit, all right? I know Hialeah. You guys chop cars in half, sew them together, and sold them as, never raced Mustangs. I've seen some of the GT500s that live in the Hialeah area. Some of the most clapped out Mustangs on the planet reside in Hialeah, Florida. They're just absolutely clapped the fuck out, to the point where I tell people, do not buy any cars south of Delray. Do not go anywhere south of Delray to buy a car. Everything down in Hialeah is clapped, fucked, jacked, screwed. There's some fast cars down there, I'm not going to lie. but there's some jacked up fucking cars down there. And I would never, there was a Mustang one time that I could have sworn someone took a Sawzall, chopped 2 different Mustangs in half and then welded them together and sold it as like a 3-valve. It was like, wow, holy shit, that's a Puerto Rican shit. Tyler Brooking says, hey, yo, I picked up a 2011 6R80 Cali. What should I do? Trade it in for a manual. Sick. Thanks for the $2. Jack Mehow says, slicks and radials is once a month for now. That's the problem with PBIR. One, they're not open enough. When they are open, it's some stupid-ass roll race nationals or some event that I don't care about. I just want to show up and have nothing but slicks and drag radial cars show up. Nothing else. But I get it. The street cars pay the bills, and there aren't enough slick and drag radials car that show up on a consistent basis to cover the nut. I get that. Alex, what do you think of a built Ford 9-inch in an S197 stick car for some badass shit? Too much? Built 8.8 is maybe more than enough. Senior saw the damage this weekend, spun both axle tubes. I would definitely build an 8.8. In my opinion, I would build an 8.8. It's a little lighter. Believe it or not, it actually, a 9-inch soaks up a lot of horsepower. There's just so many bearings and the carrier bearing and everything. There's just a lot of it. I would build a badass 8.8 as opposed to buying like an M9 and throwing it in there. Not a big fan of, look, I love the 9-inch. It's very, very strong, very robust, but it's very heavy and it soaks up a lot of power. So I would rather build an 8.8. I'm saying a super badass 8.8 with a spool. No wave track, no S track, no what's the other one that people think is badass for drag racing, but it's actually the opposite. The one that comes in the Boss 302. I forget what it's called. Torsen. No Torsen. Spool. If you are a stick guy and you want to drag race, spool. Nothing else. Michael Gallardo says, speaking of being gay in roll racing, should I put a Whipple on my 2016 GT350 or just buy a Gen 3 10R80 GT and go twins? I want to make around 800. Well, both of them will get you 800. If you E85 the GT350, you can make 800 real easy with about 10 pounds of boost and E85. Done. If you want to go really, really fast, especially from a dig and have the latest and greatest technology, it's tough to beat a 10R80 car. But at 800 real horsepower, you're going to have to build that transmission. At 800 real horsepower on a GT350, you're going to start having transmission trouble. So you're going to have to potentially upgrade to a T56. So either way, you're going to have to put some money into the trans setup. Nastang 87XX. Every time you mention something mode and Blum Blum 13, you cockblock Alex. Be a bro and don't cockblock Alex. I don't know who that is. Who are you talking to? I have no idea who you're talking to. It's the Boss 302 manifold. Okay. Is the Boss 302 manifold good for twin turbo setup, or should I go with an 18 manifold? A lot of people like the looks of a Boss 302. A ported Boss 302 actually does really well. But so does an 18 manifold. I think it's a wash, honestly. Both manifolds perform similarly. They tune similarly. So I don't think you have a bigger benefit one over the other. Honestly, I've seen twin turbo stock manifold cars do really well. So I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Honestly, a lot of people overthink a lot of shit. They overthink a bunch of stuff. It's just like relax. Well, the tubes, dummy. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like when a lot of people have issues with 8.8 rear ends, they forget to do the basics. My black car, I guess, is still kicking ass out and about. Look, I'll buy it back eventually, but not for $20,000. I've seen where people were selling that car for, and I'm like, I know what's in that car. That car's maybe $15,000 or $14,000 after it's all said and done. But I know people are asking 20 for it. Some guy bought it for 20, or he asked 20 for it. But that thing had welded axle tubes. It had a brace at one time. I don't know if it has it anymore. Had slicks. So if you're out there with a drag radial launching a stick car on slicks and it doesn't have a slipper clutch, you are going to break all the shit. Big Daddy Trucker says your girlfriend says she likes a built 9-inch. Ha! I don't have a girlfriend. Coyote Car Guy said, "What's up?" Okay, so I guess they're saying hi to each other. Sorry. True Trek for the win. No. Spool all the fucking time. I forego all the bullshit with differentials when it comes to badass stick shit. Now, if you daily the car or if you drive it a lot, yeah, you're going to have to go with some kind of differential. But if you want to drag race a stick car, spool. Oh, yeah. Oh, I made that shit way too sweet. Oh, that's awful. Oh, shit. Since Alex doesn't do too much on the red Mustang and most of y'all follow that build because we are all broke, y'all should follow my channel. We have similar setups trying to run 10s on an NA budget. Look at that motherfucker trying to get in here trying to steal viewers. The problem, Looney Lou, is you're probably not entertaining. And there's some stuff in store for that red Mustang. Honestly, a lot of stuff has come down the pike that made me stop trying to build an NA car. Number one, it is expensive. So to build an NA car is more expensive than just to throw a boost at it and run a better number. Plain and simple. Hear me out. Let's say that car was bone stock and I was to be able to buy a $5,000 Paxson setup, right? Budget fuel system. By the time it's all said and done, I probably don't even have 6,000 into it, and it's a deep 10-second car, automatic. Deep 10-second car. Naturally aspirated. What's a Cobra Jet setup cost, right? Like a badass Cobra Jet setup. Oh, you don't need a Cobra Jet setup. Okay, what's a GT350 manifold? You don't need that. You need an 18 manifold. Okay. 18 manifold ain't going to run a crazy number on a Gen 2. It's just not. It's going to run a crazy number on a Gen 3, not a Gen 2. So you're going to end up spending that exact same amount of money with suspension, converter, axles, brakes, lightweight brakes, all the stuff, and the car will still be like a 11.0 1090 car. Whereas with a Paxson setup on pump gas and a converter and a shitty ass fuel system, hell, forget the fuel system. Let's say you spring for a converter, leave a BAP on it, run C16, Q16, or boosting, 10, 11, 12 pounds of boost, that bitch will be a 1050 car all day, or MS109. It'll be a 1050 car with a converter and boost, then NA, wasting your fucking time on NA stuff. So I thought to myself, that's more expensive. Yeah, I mean, it's been like 12.3, which doesn't impress anybody because I have nothing into it and it's full weight. So I'm like, boy, that doesn't make sense. But then some stuff came down the pike that could be good for some other stuff down the road. So I'm going to just chill the fuck out. Look, that car is not going to, I'm not going to concentrate all of my shit on that car. If a converter falls out of the sky, I'll put it on it. I have axles for it and I can take it to the track and probably bust off an 1170, 1160 if I really care. But at this point, I'm not throwing a dime into that car while the Fairmont is still a thing. I'm concentrating on Texas 2K, Texas 2K done. Then I'll maybe fuck with that car. But honestly, it's not a priority right now. I'm trying to steal my fucking viewers. How dare you? 7.3 in the red car? Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to put a Godzilla in the red car. Oh my God. No fucking way. Yo, ask any racer, any real racer. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. So you're probably 30 tops, right? I hate quoting that movie. Right, Fast and Furious is just the biggest piece of shit movie ever made, and I hate the fact that you guys like low-key like that movie. Like, you low-key like that fucking movie and like think it's like real life. What the fuck's going on with this mic stand? It's all fucked up. You didn't miss much, Edwin Martinez. We're just talking a little shit about roll racing versus dig racing. It seems the general consensus seems to be that it doesn't matter. Like, whether you like roll racing or prefer dig racing, your area is going to dictate what kind of racing you do. If your area is a heavily roll race area, you're going to roll race. Now, what I'm going to try to do, I finally got a nice little suction cup mount, and I'm going to try to do some 60 rolls in the Fairmont, not tomorrow, not Thursday, maybe Friday or Saturday. I'm going to go out there and see if I can do some 60 rolls and what I need to do to make the car hook from a 60 roll, because this area is all roll stuff. So if I do catch a race on the street, well, I have to be ready, right? So I have to prepare the car to do roll stuff, and that car is not going to be a dig car because on the street, because one, to set up a dig car, to set up a car to dig on the street in this area, it's kind of a waste of time. You're better off and you'll get more races from a roll. So what I'm going to do, try to video the car from a 60 roll, see what it takes to make it hook. I've recently done some testing and the car is actually reacting real well, so I'll try to get some of that stuff on video. But it seems to be in Florida, if you want to catch a race, it is a roll race. You are not going to catch anyone on the street looking to dig race. It's just not going to happen. JP Stang says, thank you for the sauce last week on the 18 Mustang with a Vortec kit. Now just got to figure out the shifting and the false knock bullshit. Look, if it's a manual Vortec or Paxson car, once you do a 1-2, the knock sensors go apeshit. I don't know why. We do everything possible, and we're like, there is some crazy weird thing happening. Not crazy weird thing. I think it's just the nature of how the centrifugal is mounted and the resonance it causes on a shift. I tell people this. This is what I'm going to start telling people. If you're going to start racing this centrifugal car at the track, bring some octane booster or run it on E85, and I'm going to desensitize the knock sensors. Make sure they don't pull anything at that region, because honestly, I cannot prevent false knock from happening based on how a supercharger or just the nature of the supercharger. Now, 6R80 cars and 10R80 cars have less of an issue because I think there's less of an abrupt, resonance or an abrupt, twisting or any kind of abruptness happening at the engine bay upon a shift. So the 6R80 car seems to be fine with the centrifugal. So the 10R80 cars, it's only on the manuals that seems to be an issue. Ramon Gonzalez, how's the new Stita intake for the CJ manifold? Okay, I'm gonna go on a limb here, and the only way I don't want to talk for Lund Racing, but I'll put myself out there. The only way I'm gonna tune any Stita intake ever is if the insert is still installed and the math is in the box. Insert installed, math in the box. Aside from that, get a PMAS or anything else. But do not take the insert off and expect me to give that car great drivability. The math signal is the best when it has the insert installed and the math in the box. And I will disclaim it before we even start fucking around. This is known to have some issues, so, drivability won't be great. Wide open throttle will be fine, no issues. But when it comes to drivability and how idle characteristics and the math signal, I definitely prefer the insert installed, math in the box, or a completely different cold air intake. There you go. Time for the emails to come in and try to get me fired. You see that Pro Charger's jumping on the bandwagon and made a kit for the 7.3? Everyone's jumping on the hype. I think that's a good thing. Pro Charger's not stupid. Pro Charger is a pretty cheap in terms of price power adder, and some guy with a truck is going to want a Pro Charger on it, and they're like, why not? It's just a bracket. They basically just have to build a bracket and say, here you go. Here's, 7 pounds of boost, 8 pounds of boost on pumped gas, and have a little better top end. I don't hate it. Fuck it. Let it happen. Whipple is probably doing the exact same thing, and that'll really be a torquey setup. Just right around 800 or so. That's when shit's going to go down. But right now, the only thing that's available is a truck kit, right? Because they come in trucks only. And if you want to get your hands on a 7.3, you're going to have to shell out $10,000. Ooh. Is it worth the cost to converting to E85 if the best I can do in the area is average E50, E60? Yes. It's still, well, what's the other 50? Honestly, probably not. I would just get away with some octane booster or some race gas if you're going to go racing. Honestly, unless you're going to live on E85, tested E85, try to get the highest ethanol percentage possible. And if all you can get is like E55, E60, it'll make better power than pumped gas, but it's just not going to have all the benefits of an 85% ethanol, tested ethanol fuel would be. What kind of power do you think my 14 GT Boss manifold full exhaust with 3.6 pulley on some E85 will make? Fun little setup. Fuck. Enough to blow it up, Ashton. Stock bottom end stock bottom end Gen 1s don't like to make that much more than 700 wheel. Jeremiah Cam's car is a great example. The thing made 740 rear wheel horsepower on pump gas. Then he switched over to E85 and it made like 820 on a 3.6 pulley. So be careful. That thing makes a good amount of jam. F-150 S550 says, does an 18 manifold make power at 8,000 RPMs on a Gen 2? I don't give a fuck if she blows. No, it doesn't. At 7,500, it starts to drop off. Just like every fucking intake. Every intake, minus the CJ. The CJ is the only one that makes more power, but like at 7,800, they all start to drop off. Why? The cams. You have stock cams in the car, so power is going to drop off at about 7,500 RPM. Do you see yourself owning another house or condo in the future? Yeah, for sure. Like the way I'm setting myself up is probably by the time I'm 50, which is like not that long from now, 8 years from now or so. I know exactly what I want. I know in my head what I want. I just have to get my ducks in a row. But you got to understand, like, Am I going to be tuning at that age? I don't know. I don't know if EPA is going to do some dumb shit. I don't know what administration is coming in after Trump wins another term. So, we don't know what tuning is going to look like. So I have to make sure that there is something that I can do for the rest of my life that is sustainable and makes me a good income. This area is very expensive to live in. One of the most expensive areas to live in, Palm Beach County, Florida. So I got to make sure that I put my ducks in a row. But yeah, I definitely own a home with a massive garage and a very small living area because I don't need a lot. I literally don't need a lot. I'm not going to have a family. I'm not going to have kids. I'm not going to have fucking dogs. I'm not going to have anything. I just want a small living area, good sized garage, minimal yard because I don't want to cut any fucking grass and I want to live as close to the water as possible, but I'm okay with living about 20 miles away from the from the ocean if it takes me 20 minutes to get there. Derek Campese or Campice or Cream Pie. Lund supports FIC 1650Hs, correct? Channel support. Thanks for the money. And yes, my Fairmont has 1650s. So feel free to get 1650s from FIC. Rami Zaidan is in the house. Nice. I saw him in there making some gestures. FIC 1000Hs. Yes, we support FIC 1000Hs also. That's it though. When it comes to FIC, all we support is the 1000Hs and the 1650s. Nothing else. Dylan Giles, he is supporting my channel. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ, $20. Well, yeah, guess what, Dylan? He's supporting the channel. That's what we call a supporter. You're a taker. I want this. I want that. How can I launch with that? How can I wire up a trans break for free? Free. I want to go for 8s with no money. Dylan, sometimes you just got to pay a little bit. And he supports. I like it. Force-fed Coyote says, be a gigolo. I don't think I can get that kind of money. I mean, I'd be banging 50 and 16 years. Actually, I'm doing that now. For free. No, I think I know what I'm good at. This is what I'm good at. When I was in sales, I was very comfortable doing it, but I don't want to do anything sales in the industry. I don't want to do any kind of sales in India. I did that for like 7 months and it was the worst experience of my life because you guys are all Amazon motherfuckers, right? Every single one of you guys usually wait for a discount sale before you buy a part, as opposed to, I want to patriate that place. I want to go there. You guys call Power by the Hour and all these other places that have a ton of knowledge and you sit them on the phone forever. Oh, control pack? Yeah, you got to wire it this way. You got to get this alternator. You got to get da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey, we have it all on the shelf. Nah, good. Nah, man, I'm good. Thanks. Click. And then you go to Amazon, eBay, the Coyote Swap forums, and you grab this harness from this guy who never calls you back. And then you grab this kit from this guy and you go to LKQ. Guys, I got out of sales because of that. Because you motherfuckers are time-wasting motherfuckers, dude. And it blows my mind when I go to Power by the Hour and I hear Pezzo and Christian on the phone, giving information you would not find anywhere else. And then you guys are like, oh, thanks a lot. Beep. You hang up and you're fucking gone. And then you're buying everything on eBay. And guess what you're doing 3 months later? Calling Power by the Hour and saying, hey, I bought this fucking harness from some dude on the forum and I can't get him on the phone. What do I do? And then Pezzo goes, buy our kit, motherfucker. So you just spent money twice. F-150, S550, hooking a brother up with $25. And he says, okay, bitch, how about shifting at 8,000 RPMs for the next years at a higher RPM? Thoughts on that? Just to support the channel. Thanks for the support, brother. I would still shift like at 7,700. I don't want you to shoot way past the power band. I don't want you to go 8,000. And then by the time you recover, it's well above where you need to be to be in a good spot. So if I were you, I would shift at 7,700 tops. All you're doing is just stressing out the valve train. The cams aren't making any power up there. You're probably floating everything up there because the valves are just like doing a whole bunch of nothing as everyone's fucking speakers just jumped out of their shit at their house. Tire kickers. Yeah, tire kickers are the worst thing in the industry. So this channel is basically a good place to ask questions for free. And I can do my best to answer them. If you happen to support, meaning the way I love it. I really appreciate it. You don't have to. I get to the questions I can. The reason I get to the paid questions is because I can see them highlighted and I can definitely pay attention. And it gives me a reason to answer your question. Whereas everyone else is like, let me just get this question answered. And then they wait for a sale. And then they go, I'm going to buy from here. A lot of you guys, and I understand you guys support maybe your local shops, right? You know how many times I've heard people say, I'd love to get a Luntune, but I want to support my local dyno tuner. I go, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Once you go through that experience and figure out, oh my God, it makes power at wide open throttle, but it does not drive well, you're going to come back to us. It happens all the freaking time. Diego Arroyo says, what's up, dude? My air is saturated with Scatback Chargers and Challengers. What kind of horsepower does it take to walk them? Roll racing, 13 GT MT82. Whew. You're going to need like a Boss intake, E85, and some weight reduction to get after those cars. They're actually pretty quick from a roll because they're heavy, but once they're rolling, they can get out there. So you're going to need E85 exhaust and like a Boss intake, CJ, or a 18 manifold car to walk on those guys because you're lighter, but you make less power. Sorry, my voice is starting to go already. Hold on. There we go. Perfect. Here's your money, Dylan Giles. Thanks for the $5. I appreciate that. See, I mentioned your name. Thank you, Dylan Giles. You're a nice guy, Dylan Giles. You're not a taker at all, Dylan Giles. In regards to the Vortex Supercharger, what do you like the most about daily driving a Sentry versus your experience driving a TVS? I miss driving a TVS. The way my driving habit is, or my driving style is low RPM, I shift early, I want to get going. With the centrifugal, you cannot do that. You have to rev it out a little bit just to get going. I'm not saying wide open throttle. I'm just saying if I used to have to shift at 2,500 RPM, just be like, whoop, give it a lot of gas, get going. Second, on a PD blower, bam, it would just push you forward. Third, you're already at 55, 60 mile an hour. Centrifugal, you can't do that. You have to rev it out, and then you get that whooshing and loud sound, and people think you're doing it on purpose, whereas you're just doing it to get going, meaning low load, high RPM, just to get going. If you floor a centrifugal car and close that little bypass valve or whatever they call it on the tube, to have boost go into the engine and not escape into the engine bay, you can get a surge forward, but it's just not enough, and you still have to rev it out. So then what happens? When you let off the gas, you get that sound, and people think I'm doing it on purpose. You go whoop, psh, whoop, psh. I'm like, I don't want that. I want to be quiet. That's where I miss a TVS. D-Self says, Alex, chasing what I believe to be false knock. Can I go up a pulley size and see if it goes away? Low RPM, high load only. Low RPM, high load only. Watt, 0 to positive knock at all. So are you saying when you are at 2,000 RPMs and you go a lot of throttle, that the car has knock issues? Okay, go up a pulley size. Try that first. Log it. See what it looks like. But if not, I might have to tell you not to floor the car at low RPM, especially with a centrifugal, because that's the issues I was having. But I am not having knock issues because if you look at the table, high load, low RPM is like top left. And that's like 2 degrees of timing. F-150 S550 says, money for the next date you have. Laughing my ass off. I have not had a date in a little while, dude. I haven't gone out with anybody. I've tried to, get something going. Dude, nothing. Like dry as fuck. Nothing's going on. Hey, Alex, obviously the Flex Tune has to learn ethanol, but why not leave it as a monitoring feature for E85? Then what? Then we can't. So what? Then leave the Flex Tune in it. Pragmatic lunatic. Pragmatic lunatic. I can't even talk. Pragmatic lunatic. Then leave the Flex Tune in it. It's going to see about the same peak timing. All right. The E85 tune shoves more timing down low. So peak for peak, it's going to be about the same. So why not just leave the E85, the Flex Tune in it to monitor ethanol content? If you really want to monitor ethanol content and you have an Engage, buy a ZT2 box and have a flex fuel sensor and then you can see your ethanol, but your car is not going to act any differently or change stoic based on the ethanol percentage. The Flex Fuel Tune does that. If you want to monitor ethanol, leave the Flex Tune in it. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard to look, we can't just enable Flex Logic to only work to monitor. It's either on to do everything or it's not on. That's how it works. Make an exclusive TV, gave me $2, didn't say anything. Looney Lou, $4.99 says, it's Looney Low, not Looney Lou, by the way. It looks like Looney Lou. Sorry, Looney Low. Sorry, I said, it's Looney Low, Alex, not Looney Lou. Get it right. Indy Boo says, missed my non-paid earlier. Does your new suction mount have a sister or cousin? Let me know. Asking for a friend, Beacha. Suction mount. No, the suction mount has a 3-headed suction mount situation for the GoPro. So I'm going to be testing that pretty soon. William says, my freaking throat is acting up. You should stop sucking so much dick, Alex. I know. That's what happens when I talk too much. William Phillips says, 2013 Boss 302 with a Paxson 2200 and a 3.6 pulley with ID 1050Xs. Long tubes, free-flowing exhaust, E85 race fuel, 4-fuel system. What's the recommended safe max horsepower for this setup? Boss 302? Sky's the limit. If it's a Boss 302, not a Boss 302 intake manifold, you're saying a 13 Boss 302? Fuck, Dakota made 1,000, standard, smoothing 5. With his, it just needed valve springs because he had valve flow on the turbo shit. So I would definitely keep it in the 850 range to be super happy, and that car is going to freaking fly at 800. Trust me, it's going to fly at 800. So you can go up to 1,000, 1 or 2 pulls, but I would live in the 8 to 850 area just to have some headroom. Timothy Fush? 19 Mustang GT with Comp Stage 1 NSR with ported 18 manifold versus Comp Stage 2 with don't overthink it. God damn it. Don't overthink cams, guys. You guys think there's a huge difference between a Stage 1 and a Stage 2. You're already spending $1,500. You're spending $1,500 for cams and maybe an install. Get the badass shit. Don't get the ones. Don't get the this. Don't get the that. Get the badass shit, right? Whoever, call comp and go, what's the badass shit? The baddest shit you got. What is the baddest shit you got? And they're like, the 3s, the Qs, the L, the B. Get that. Don't be like, what's Stage 1 versus Stage 2 with the ported intake manifold and ported throttle body? Don't play that fucking game. Either buy the best shit or don't buy nothing. That's the way I look at it. I'm not going to be like, well, I want to start with a VMP, but I want to start with a 90 millimeter pulley and a twin 60. What's the biggest difference between a 90 millimeter twin 60 and a 85 millimeter with a twin 67 and a JLT 125? Oh, what the fuck are you doing? Buy it once. Buy it once. Buy the badass shit once. What do you think about a 200 shot on a Gen 1? I don't like anything above a 150 on any Coyote, period. Why? Knock sensors. You're shoving nitrous in to fucking intake, right? What do you think the knock sensors are going to be listening for when the intake's right above them and they're like, fuck is going on up there? We're going to pull timing. And then you mount your solenoids somewhere on the intake or the throttle body and it clicks on and off. Look, the best way, in my opinion, to run nitrous on a car is with the 85. That's why I can ignore the knock sensors. Fuck you, knock sensors. Tune it old school, pull a plug, or, just keep the timing at a spot that you know is going to be fine. And less than a 150 shot. Because I've seen a lot of, unless you have a direct port nitrous system, so puddling is less likely on an intake manifold runner, I wouldn't go above a 150. With the Mantic, is it normal to have a slight shudder when leaving from a stop? Yes. I have that with a stock clutch. I have with a stock clutch. From a stop and going to reverse, otherwise it's fine. Follow the braking religiously, asking for experience on this clutch. Yes, Alexander Cadell. Normal. Even the stock clutch shudders if you manipulate the foot just right. Based off that, Sentry sounds boring to daily drive. TVS for the win. Who the fuck gave me $50? What the hell is wrong with you? Thank you, though. Goddamn. So it is not boring, Dean Simmons, to drive a Sentry car every day. Is it more fun to drive a PD car in traffic situations? Absolutely. You get that grunt down low that you'll never get with a centrifugal, even with a torque booster setup. Torque booster setups, all they do is they love to bleed off boost and go past the spring and give you a 16 psi with pump gas. And then, whoa, why is my car acting like shit? Because it went past the spring. So for daily driving situations, I would definitely rock like an Edelbrock TVS or something like that. On a manual Gen 3 car, because you don't have to rev it out to get going quickly. Osis Coyote says 600 people in the chat are watching, but only 51 likes. Shaking my head. Can't claim support, but you don't like his videos. Thumbs up. Come on, guys. Thank you, Osis Coyote. Now, that's what I'm noticing, right? A lot of people, when it comes to taking, right? Now, I invest. Actually, I'll tell you a little story about demonology. Remind me, guys, to talk about demonology. It's very positive. That guy, like, I am a fan now. A lot of people watch my videos, and I have an analytics page. And in the analytics page, it tells you who watches your shit and who doesn't. And like 70% of the people that watch my shit don't even subscribe. They just watch it and they don't want to get notified. And they're like, oh, I missed your show. I'm like, look, when I support a page, I support a certain amount of pages. And when that, like Boxing Legends TV, every time a new video comes out, I'm on that shit. Love your videos, like it, here's some money, because I want him to get paid enough to motivate himself to keep pumping videos out. I'm not begging for that. What I'm saying is I support the pages fully. Israel R gave me $50. Jesus, thank you very much, Israel. He says, hello, Alex. I'm planning to buy a Lund tune. Will I need an update to my tune when summer temps hit over 100 here in Phoenix, Arizona? I have a 2015 GT 6-speed manual with Corsa catback, and maybe soon a Corsa intake. Thanks for your input. So Israel, the mass airflow sensor has IAT, right? And every Mustang on the planet monitors air charge temperatures. The tunes are already set up from Ford, because think about it. Does Ford tune a vehicle differently in the desert than they do in Miami, than they do in the Northeast, than they do in Alaska, than they do in Europe? No. If you all buy a 2015 manual Mustang, the car leaves the factory with the same tune. Every single one. The same tune. The same tune. The same tune. Why? The mass airflow sensor compensates for outside conditions. If inlet air temperatures are high, it can pull timing based on inlet air temperature. If you have a supercharged vehicle like a GT500, it will also compensate for temperature, blower temperature. It'll compensate for boost. There's so many things that are piggybacked off in the tune that the car does not need constant adjustment. Typically, when a car goes on the dyno and we make power with it, then we dial in shift points, you're done. Bye. Go enjoy your vehicle. Now, if we go to a track day and we're there with you and we want to get every single little inch, I'm not saying you're going to gain a half second. I'm saying you might gain a couple of tenths. That's when we can do the clutch fill time, the shift schedule get bumped up a little bit, the launch RPM, the ramp. That's when we really, really, really dial the car in to get every single chunk out of it. But when it comes to inlet air temperatures, outside environment, barometric pressure, the car compensates. And we piggyback right off of what the factory does. It does not need constant adjustment. Israel R. I just wanted to spend a little more time on that, reiterating that point, because you spent the money. Thank you very much. Matt GT500 paid me $10 and said, hey, Alex, I bought the XB8 in the package from PBH for my GT500. I got a revision from London. The car would start, but not idle. Would start and idle on the CJ65 tune with the 68 wouldn't rev. Whew. So now you're getting me into deep water. So Matt, did you buy the Kenny Bell 168 from Power by the Hour? Yes or no? We have had some inconsistencies with the Kenny Bell 168. The ones I've tuned have been great. Matt Green has one. I think he went back to a CJ65 though, because with time it got worse. This car, the red GT, had a Kenny Bell 168 on it for a long time, and it was wonderful until one day it wasn't. One day it just fail-safed at Mod Nationals on the last run at Mod Nationals, and no matter what I did to it, I mean, look, it was running great for months, and all of a sudden it went to shit. We know the tune didn't change, so what changed? Something with the throttle body. After taking it apart, cleaning the insides, looks like there were little brass shavings on the on the motor, put it back together, it would idle, but once the temperature would get hot, it would fail safe again. And I said, I'm done. So I put a Whipple 132 from a front feed blower and retrofitted it into the car, and I never had an issue like throttle body related ever again. So it might be an issue with the throttle body because the tune doesn't change. If Lund gave you a tune for a Kenny Bell 168 that is vetted as hell, we even have a base file that we know just works. So if there's any issue, we know it's not the tune, we know it's the throttle body. So people will say, well, why don't you adjust on the throttle body? Well, why would I have to? If I have the TPS settings that are proper, I have the right feed forward and the throttle area on point, and the throttle is acting as it should, I shouldn't have to keep messing with the tune. The tune should not have to change. Same thing as a stock throttle body, right? Let's say you have a stock throttle body in the car and you have idle issues. Are you going to start tuning a stock throttle body? No, you're going to say something's faulty. So you have to change that part. Hopefully that answered your question, Matt GT500, or at least gave you a glimpse into what we see. Make It Exclusive TV says, real quick, is buying a 2011 100,000 mile Coyote a good idea or not? If it's my car, yeah, because apparently it's still running badass. It depends on the price, right? If it's a deal, I'm saying a deal. I personally will not buy a 100,000 mile Coyote unless I'm planning to build it in the future. Meaning build bottom end, change all the internals, and I got a killer price for it. If you're planning to boost that car later on down the road and not do the bottom end, I would avoid that car like the plague. Solo Mang 1 says, hey, horsepower gains on a stock 18 Raptor with a tune. So it's basically going to be boost. So probably 50. I'm simply going by what we have seen on the 2.7 and the 3.5 F-150 trucks, which is a Raptor engine, but the Raptor has badass turbos. I've seen a 50 to 60 rear wheel horsepower and like almost the same in torque, like a lot, because we add boost and add timing, but you got to run 93 octane. You cannot run anything under 93 octane if you want to see the most gains out of it. You might even be able to see like a 70 horsepower gain, but I hesitate to give you big numbers because I don't want to get your hopes up. But it's basically as much as the fuel will tolerate. If you have badass sweet 93 in your area, it will tolerate all the spark. It tolerates all the spark. We can keep throwing boost at it until it's happy. Then you're going to run into intercooler issues. Your intercooler is going to run out of efficiency real quick, and you're going to have high IAT. So we can't just keep shoving boost down its throat and not expect to have high inlet air temperatures. So if your fuel is if your octane is high enough and you can keep throwing boost at it, you might have to upgrade your intercooler also to make up for that additional boost and the hot air that's getting in it because of the added boost. Someone said drink a Coke for the next stream. Why? Am I low energy? How dare you? Max safe boost on an S550 with a Gen 3 Whipple. E85 illuminator, head studs, looking for 1,000. Yeah, dude, fucking send that shit. Head studs, illuminator, fucking send that shit through the fucking roof. 25 pounds of boost. Fuck it. Gen 3 Whipple. Yeah, you can get 22, 23 PSI. It should be close, man. It should be making some crazy jam. If it's studded, I mean, if you're at 9-10 now at 17 pounds and you live in Colorado, that's the fucking problem, dude. There is no air up there, man. Shit. Go down to like sea level and do a dyno pull, then come back on the same boost. Watch it make like 1,100. You're going to have to pulley down, brother. Pulley way the fuck down because you're in Colorado. I know the dyno compensates for barrel, but you're literally sucking through a straw up there, brother. I mean, there is no air available up there. So you're going to have to shove 20 plus PSI at it to get over that 1,000 horsepower threshold. But with an Illuminator E85 and head studs, I wouldn't hesitate to do it at all. William Phillips says, yes, a true Boss 302. My Boss has been called sticker package because people don't know what a Boss is. I love Master Race. Has been 10.9 on E85 with a ported CJ setup. Looking for 9s now. Yeah, buddy, you can send it. That's a badass motor. The Roadrunner. It is not a Coyote. It is a Roadrunner. It is a badass motherfucker. The baddest motor still probably to this day that came out of Ford. The Gen 3 is right there though, but the Predator fucking pushed everyone's shit in with, making over 1,000 with Evos set up. Badass. 5 Point Slow says, yo, Bicho, is Lund working on a fluid single turbo kit? No. No. No turbo kits are coming out. No more turbo kits are being developed at Lund Racing. Been there, done that, learned their lesson. Whatever they have on the shelf is what they have on the shelf. And if you want to buy the hot side, let's say you want to buy the hot side, they have plenty of hot sides, and you can fab up your own single if you want. So you can buy the hot side at lundracing.com and have your guy fab up your own single from then on. You know, that's up to you. He goes, I have a 2013 development vehicle. I love how people say, I have a development vehicle. Here's my vehicle. I'm going to help you so much by giving you my vehicle to develop something for, and then I'm going to get a free turbo kit out of it. Usually what happens, 5 Point Slow, in that situation is we use your vehicle to R&D on, and we give it back to you stock. Thanks for the vehicle. Here's a stock vehicle back. We're not going to give you anything with upgrades after R&Ding. I love how people go, well, I'll be the test guinea pig. Okay, test guinea pig. We're going to gut your shit, rewire your shit. And after we got what we need, we're going to hand you back the car just like you gave it to us. Where are we? Oh my God. Okay. I have a 19 GT A10 Whipple Cat Delete. Stop saying Cat Delete, guys. Guys. Free flowing exhaust. If we want to keep certain government agencies off of our radar, free flowing fucking exhaust. Stop saying Cat Delete. Pump E running 3.87. What power would it gain dropping to a 375 Lund Tune? It's going to be a PSI or so. So you're going to see maybe 20 rural horsepower gain, maybe 25 at about a PSI. I think a 387 to a 375 is going to be about 1 PSI or 1.5 PSI. I don't think it'll be 3 PSI. I just don't think it'll be 3 PSI. I think it'll be like 1.5. The War Eagle 87 paid me $10 and says, thanks for being real and giving us legit info. Keep the awesome work, sir. Keep up the awesome work, sir. I will keep giving support. Thank you very much. Today's been almost a record day. You guys are psycho. Matt GT500 said, yes, I did. I bought one of their last batch in stock, actually. Yeah, usually what happens, Matt GT500, is Power by the Hour says, contact Kenny Bell, because that's a part that they buy from Kenny Bell. So you're going to, and I know what Kenny Bell's going to say. It's fine. Everything's great. Everything's fine. And then we're going to say, we tune more of these motherfuckers than anybody. The tune has not changed in 5 years. It is the same guy. So if the throttle body acts up, if the car is not idling or something acts up, it is a hardware fault, unfortunately, sir. Jake Brewer says, hey, Alex, I know you guys tune the new Explorer ST, but would you guys tune my 16 Explorer Sport with a 3.5 EcoBoost? I think so, but I'm not 100% that we have, we're not advertising that. But I think we have tunes for the 3.5 EcoBoost. Jake Brewer, put in an email, support@lundracing.com. Ask the question, hey, I was on Alex's live stream, and I'm asking if you guys support the 3.5 EcoBoost on the 16 Explorer. And we'll see if we can help you out for sure. Alex Cadell says, thanks. It's my first aftermarket clutch in my first ever manual car, and I thought it was just a bad driver and messed up the braking, and I had a stock one for a year until it completely delaminated. That's usually what happens. So I wish I had a clutch here. I have a cerametallic clutch in the garage, a Mantic. And if you see how the pucks are placed, they're separated. There's like, boom, 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 boom. Whereas a stock clutch is a complete full face clutch face with abrasive materials or the wear material. So if you have any kind of, if you're applying the clutch and there's any high spot, meaning a tiny high spot on one of the pucks, it might shudder momentarily. It's not going to be like a perfectly great transition. It is a aftermarket clutch with aftermarket materials, so you're going to expect for it to not drive like stock. Free flowing drink. Alex, doggy style or receiving head when finishing off? Okay, dick skin. It's funny. I scan the non-paid questions, and when something comes up like that, I'll talk about it. Let me get. Oh my God, I got a lot of paid questions, so I don't want to skip anybody. Would you sell the TVS on the Fairmont? Yes, I would. Once Texas 2K is over and it runs a number, I might sell the TVS kit and put a big single on it. Sorry, it's like 10K to 12K. The car? I'd buy it for 10K, but I would plan on building that bottom end. Drink a Coke for the next stream. Hey, Alex, I did a little research on the 4R200 and found it's super similar to the GM 200 4R from the 80s. Is that by design or accidental? Jake just wanted to make the best drag race 6R80 there is. and it is the 4R200. It takes care of that stupid 417 first gear, which a lot of people say, well, that's the challenge. That's the cool part. So you need a 273 gear out back to make that bitch launch. And a lot of people soften up on the 60-foot because of that. So Jake's like, why not make it like a turbo 400 kind of gear ratio? And that's what he did. And it is by design that the gear ratios happen to work out that way. Jake thought of this all on his own. Then he worked with Lund to get it tuned right. But in terms of the application, that was all Jake, 100% Jake. Would a PMAS race filter do much versus a regular CJ car? Yeah, it'll drive like shit. It'll drive like shit, Jack Mehoff. It'll drive. You're going to hate how it fucking drives. But it does make a little bit more horsepower. I think like 5 more at wide open throttle. RS3 for me says, here's $5 for hand cream and being in the Rosy Palm Club. Pretty much at this point, it's all I'm doing. There's nothing on the horizon. Used to be a freeloader when it came to asking for help until I saw your video about it. Now, if I'm just getting information, I at least try to buy a shirt or merchandise. Appreciate you opening my eyes. You got to understand, Power by the Hour is a great example. I'm sorry, my voice is acting up. It's really sorry, guys. Jake employs 6 people, 5 or 6 people total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the phone, the knowledge that has to be accrued for someone like Pezzo and Christian and Perdomo and Jake to spout it off cost Jake years of R&D, effort, money. So if you go there and you're like, which wire do I need to trigger the fuel pump off of on a SN95 with your harness? And the answer goes, bam, here's the answer. You're like, holy shit. Where else would you have gotten that information? Yeah, forums would have dicked you around and this and that, but you got the answer like that. The least you could do is buy a fucking shirt because he saved you hours. How much for the TVS? Dude, I'm not advertising anything right now on the Fairmont. That TVS is like a base kit, meaning it's not designed for anything crazy. What's a Edelbrock's, stage 2 TVS kit cost you? It's going to be, less than that, obviously new, but I'm not going to like give it to you for $3,000. Fuck no. We're going to, and it's a custom YDBT a blower. It's so stupid. And I have a custom Whipple throttle body on it, a custom inlet. I don't even know what the hell to ask for that thing. Israel R gave me 20 more bucks. So he's giving me $70 today. And I've never heard of this guy, but he's supported this channel a shitload. I'm going to buy a bunch of new equipment based on him. Probably buy a new camera, new GoPros for the, do some roll shit. Because of Israel R, I'm going to buy more suction cup mounts to do some roll racing with. Thanks, Alex. I just want to support your channel from Puerto Rico, from one Puerto Rican to another. I'm new to modifying cars. Bendiciones. Que Dios te bendiga. Sorry. Jesus Christ. Blue third, looking to do a Ben Stage 3 from Ben Callender. Currently Vortec Carb Tune 540 horsepower. Will I need a special tune or recal due to a different trans gears? Abso-freaking-lutely. Ben Calmer re-gears his transmission. So in order for the cruise control to work, in order for the upshift rev matching or the shift assist is what they call it, for that to work, and when you go into reverse, the car won't shut off. You'll need a retune for that transmission for sure. Pat the one says, Alex, what time are your Thursday live streams for the dating channel? 8:30, same time, just on the dating channel. How much more power would I make going from Octanium E85 to E85 on a 1550 with Gen 3 Whipple with full bolt-ons? Full bolt-on, so it's an NA car. Shit, I think you're going to make similar power. Honestly, like an Octanium or VP Octanium or Octane Booster, you can get 30, 31 degrees from it. Same thing with the 85. When it comes, I haven't tested that. That's probably going to be a pretty good test to do on the red car. The red car would probably be a great candidate for that. Put 93 in it with Boostane or Octanium and see how much power I can get out of it. And then put E85 in it, go wide open, same timing, just put an E85 Stoic in it and see how much power it makes. That would be interesting. Do you know any good shops in Jersey? Well, I mean, Evo is close by. They're not necessarily in Jersey. And Chuck's C&D Auto Tech in Delaware So, I mean, if you're anywhere near Pennsylvania or Delaware, which you all kind of just butt fuck each other in that part of the world, you can go to C&D Auto Tech or Evolution Performance. McLovin says, Alejandro, save your voice so you can scream 1, 2, 3 at Texas 2K. I'm not doing any street racing at Texas 2K. I'm just going to run the streetcar class, get my ass gapped by everybody, and go home and lick my wounds. And I will be on vacation. That means if you see me at Texas 2K, do not ask me to look at your tuner logs. I am taking vacation days so I can attend Texas 2K. What's the best gear ratio for a 2012 506 R80? I like 331s or 355s on a 6R80 that's mildly modified, even boosted. It works real well. Full bolt on. Okay, 355. Otto says, took the plunge and moving on from the pump gas tune to the flex tune. Got the car at an 8th tank, ready for the tune, hopefully tomorrow. By the way, thanks for the rev match help last episode. Badass. Anytime, brother. Tin Star says, I see the idiots putting straight pipes on their junk to go racing around traffic and then posting it up on YouTube. It's going to get the EPA on us. Your thoughts? Tin Star, you're not wrong. You got to understand, a lot of people out there like to show off and stunt and do stupid shit. And now that the EPA got its funding cut, people are going to say, oh, no big deal. That means, they got less power to do shit. No, that means they need more funding. And what do people that need money do? Let's say you work for a small town and you're a cop in that small town. And all of a sudden, revenue needs to go up. All of a sudden, you see speed traps everywhere. You see them ticketing this and that, just looking for a reason to pull you over. If an EPA government agency is like, or a agent is like, boy, Donald Trump cut funding by billions. What are we going to do? We're going to ramp up shit. So cut the shit. Like, really, guys, cut the fucking shit. All right, be smart about how you say shit, how you do shit. If you want to go racing, go racing. Don't do stupid shit. Don't do flame tunes. Don't do pop tunes. Don't do flamethrower to burn the grass tunes. And don't post that shit on social media, because all of a sudden you're going to go, this is bullshit, man. What the fuck, man? The government's infringing on our rights to do shit, bro. Because you're fucking shoving it in their face. Shut up. Don't post everything. Have your fun. Don't post everything. You're right, Tin Star. Brian Geisler says, Alex, Boss 302 with a Century kit and triple pump return at Ignite 114, making 840 wheel. If I port the intake, am I going to need a retune? No, you do not need a retune. Same thing the MAF sensor does for altitude and temperature, it does for flow. So when we make a MAF curve, we predict, not just idle, drivability, and wide open throttle. People that know me going idle, drivability, wide open throttle. There's different points, right? So more airflow will bring you to a different point in the MAF, and we scale that appropriately on your MAF. Now, what I would do is, once you port your intake manifold, do a wide open throttle, hit log it, send it in for review. If it needs any tweaking, let's say if it hits another cell above from where it previously was when it wasn't ported, we'll tweak it. But typically, it's taken care of in the MAF curve if the MAF curve was dialed in correctly. Aaron Brown says, on 3 turbo kit, top mount. Thoughts for my 19 GT Auto. What fuel system and injector? They work. They make power. What fuel system? 4 Innovations. What injector? FIC 1000H, ID 1050X, or D-Torx 95. Then you should be good to go for a very long time. Now, a lot of people, I heard another tuner the other day talking a little shit about Lund. Not a little shit, but he was like, oh, Lund is always telling you to go inject dynamics. And I'm here telling you, go FIC, go D-Torx, go whatever. The reason we hone in on specific injectors is because the data works. Meaning, here's the data. Do you want me to constantly... I shouldn't have to hit the slopes on anything. I should never... If I have an ID injector, FIC 1000H, D-Torx 95, or a Ford Racing injector, and I know the data is legit from the factory, plop, and there's a variable, the car's 15% off, I'm going to go, you got a leak somewhere. You got a MAF leak. Are you sure the diameter of the pipe is this? Are you sure you got that? Are you sure you have the stock sensor? It's not an HPX? And people go, oh, why? Because the data is the data. The data should not have to be modified if it is vetted good data. That, number one, makes our job easier. Yes, it does make our job easier, but it makes the diagnosing easier. What does that mean? I know you have a leak if I have the right data in there. JLT 123, ID 1050X, return style fuel system, E85, everything is set up. I say, hey, did you test the fuel? Yup. Hey, did you check the injector? Double check the injector? Yup. Okay, you got a leak somewhere. No, I don't. Smoke check it. They smoke check it. Oh, yeah, there was a O-ring fucked up on the supercharger. Right. So now I have totally saved you a bunch of time. Or I could have just kept fucking hammering the math or hitting the slopes and been like, oh, here, it's mint, masking an issue. That's not what we do. That's what we call not tuning it right. We don't do hack tuning where we're slamming slopes. This isn't a 3-valve. This isn't a Cobra. We're not scaling calibrations. We're plopping in data that is vetted and making our lives easier and your life easier, because if we can diagnose your vehicle quicker, it gets you on the road faster. If people want to criticize that train of thought, they're looking at it the wrong way. Hey, Alex, I have a 17 GT with a 350 manifold, long tubes on 93. How much wheel you think? I would get a Luntune. And how much would E85 give me? Root Beer says that. What a loaded question. A 17 GT, if it's a manual, it's going to make on pump gas maybe 420, tops. On E85, maybe 430, 435 tops. Maybe 440 if you're real lucky and the car's super happy. If it's an auto, take away 20 from all that number, because my car makes 420 with a 350 intake, 350 cold air intake, free flowing exhaust. It makes 420 wheel on the 85. Through an auto though, it just soaks up more power. How come you don't do a YOLO cameo? It doesn't. I can't make YOLO just appear. It's just like, I can, but it's like I don't think it's funny. I still think it's funny. The time has to be right. Cheyenne Obregon says, I have a 14 Gen 1 engine, 55,000 miles in stage 3 cams with limiter from comps. Any idea where I can sell it? I'm on Quantico base and haven't had anyone bite. Depends how much you're asking. Engines like that, Gen 1 engines with cams and 55,000 miles, you better not be asking more than $4,000, because guys are buying LKQ F-150 engines for $1,500 to $1,800. I think Christian has 15 of them, 15 Coyotes in his garage, and I think Mikey has another 10. Guys are becoming super available and super cheap, so it's hard to sell an engine like that for anything over $4,000. Why does the Paxson kit have a bypass valve? What's the point? The bypass valve is so when you're driving, right, and your car is not under boost, it's not seeing any manifold, boost on the manifold, drivability, meaning you're not boosting the engine at part throttle. You're just driving around and it's whooshing air out. The moment you go wide open throttle and it shuts the bypass valve, now it allows boost to get into the engine, meaning when you're wanting boost, it gives you boost. When you're not wanting boost, you're not having boost, and it makes drivability a lot easier. It basically drives like a stock car until you give it a lot of gas, get some boost in it, and it shuts the bypass valve and it gets boost into the engine. I want to get a 350 manifold on 93, but should I get injectors? And if yes, which ones? One day I'll put a TVS on it, but in the meantime, that's what I'm rolling with. Alex Cadell, if the car's NA, or is it centrifugal? If it's NA on 93, if it's NA on 93, you can go with a stock injector. If it's boosted on 93, an MU52 is the most. The only time you'll need a 1000cc injector is when you're planning to make, over 10 pounds of boost into the car. But I got away with an MU52 at 700 wheel for a very long time on C16 fuel. Once I went E85, I got a 1000cc injector. Thoughts on the D-Works 400 and E85 with a P1 SE? Nope. Not just no, but fuck no. I am not going to tune any boosted application with a D-Works 400 and E85. It's just not going to happen. I want headroom, Caesar. Caesar Dominguez asks that question. I want headroom. Because this is what's going to happen, right? Let's say, for instance, you're right at the edge. The car's fueling properly at 10 PSI, and you're rolling and you're roll raking someone, and you're in fourth gear for a very long time at 140, 150 mile an hour, 6,500 RPM, 6,800, 7,000 RPMs on E85. Now the pump is starting to not be able to supply adequate fuel to the vehicle based on, let's say, the amount of time you're at 6,000 RPMs, or let's say the weather's really cool outside, and now this thing is sucking in nice cold air, and now it is putting a bigger load on the fuel system. You're at 6,800 RPMs, 7,000 RPMs. Now you start to lean out. It starts to lean out, and the car starts to feel really good. The car feels really fucking great right before it pops. Right before it fucking pops, and you're done. With a return style fuel system, you can boost reference it. And as you saw in my last video with the Fairmont, pressure goes up with boost. and you have two pumps back there kicking ass. So you're never going to run out of you're never going to run out of fuel with that stuff at a certain PSI. Thoughts on an on-3 turbo kit just for the hot parts and swapping into Precision or Garrett turbo and better wastegates? That's usually what people do. They run the choo-choo boys for a little while, and then they upgrade the turbos, and then they sell the car because it's an on-3 kit. It happens. Look, it's exactly how it happens. Hey, Alex, I live in Lund's backyard, literally 30 minutes away. Am I able to pick up stuff from their shop? If you're buying like shirts and stuff like that, I don't know if they have they don't have a cashier up front and be like, ugh, I don't even think you can get in the motherfucker unless you get buzzed in. But if you were to say, hey, in order for me to save on shipping, can I just show up and have it shipped locally? And I think that's an option. And they'll just like leave a box outside the door while it's raining and have you pick it up because they don't want to see your face. Because you're going to be like, oh, let me see the shop. Let me hang out. What are you guys doing? And Dakota and Brandon are smashing away at 80 tunes and you want to chit chat. And they're like, yeah, totally. It's just like, no, this is a production atmosphere. We're hammering away. So if you need to pick something up, pick it up, get out of there. Don't sit there and chit chat. There is no like lounge room. This is like their home, their little, thing. So don't be like, oh, let me show up and just chit chat with the guys. No. Your Daily Venom says, that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes feel the boost coming in a little late after going wide open throttle. Maybe my bypass valve is shutting right away. No, it's just how the centrifugals are. They don't make any nut until about 4,000 RPMs. Then they really start to huff, depending on the pulley size. I have a 3.6 pulley in the car, and I think that's more than enough to be able to feel like you're being pushed forward with minimal throttle manipulation. If you have a 3.8 pulley, it's not going to feel like shit until like 5,000 RPMs. Becho, you missed my question earlier. Nestor Berrios. Hold on, Nestor, you liar. You're a fucking liar. I got a lot of questions today, man. Like a shitload. I got Israel. Nestor, I don't see you. Instead of asking it again, he just tells me you missed it. Here it is. Hey, Alex, I have a 350 owner here. Would you recommend a Whipple or a twin turbo? What other mods would you do to the bottom end? Not looking to make 900 turbo horsepower. I like a Whipple for the simplicity. It's so simple. And that's the only PD blower that is currently offered in the GT350 and throttle body electronics, Nestor. So I would do I would do a Whipple on the 350, E85, booster pumps, 1,000cc injectors, make about 800 on 11 or 12 PSI. I would upgrade the clutch if you could. And the bottom end, it's going to be expensive if you upgrade the bottom end. I mean, it's a flat plane crank. How do you upgrade that? You make it cross plane, I think. Or if they make a billet crank or billet, rotating or, rods and pistons upgrade for GT350s that I don't know of. Honestly, I'd keep it at 800 horsepower and pray to God it doesn't blow up. Okay. Oh, shit. I missed a bunch of questions. So real quick on demonology. I wanted to talk about demonology. He came on last week and he was here, just supporting the channel. And I really appreciated it. Him coming on. He came on the right way. He came across like an adult. He said, hey, I'd like to race you sometime. I'll be at Texas 2K. I'm like, wow, absolutely. And he said, if I'm ever in Florida, I'll hit you up and we'll race. I'm like, wow. Then he told me he got a hold of a Cobra Jet Mustang and it was a crazy experience for him. I just happened to catch his video of that experience. If you haven't seen it yet, go to Demonology's channel, subscribe, because he is a straight up nice dude. Look, just the 2 seconds I saw the whole video, but right away I knew this guy wasn't a fuck boy. He's an adult. He's a little bit of an older gentleman, my age probably. Seems to have a super supportive wife. He has a friend of his that owns a Cobra Jet, and he let him take some laps in it, and it changed his life, foot braking it to a 870. Now, someone said something kind of funny. They said, I can't believe Alex's Fairmont is as quick as a Cobra Jet. And I didn't even think about that. I went, you're right. My Fairmont is an 8.7 car with a 128, 127, 60 foot. It's literally what that Cobra Jet runs. Obviously uglier. The Cobra Jet does it in style. And you could see that. Demonology. I hate even calling him Demonology. I'd like to know his real name. But he's just sitting there shifting the gears and with one hand on the steering wheel. Totally relaxed. Well, I'm like white knuckling the Fairmont, because it's a Fox body and it's square going down the track and it's not stable at all. Thoughts on circumcision? Johnny50, thoughts on circumcision? If you have a kid, if I had a boy, I'd circumcise him. It makes it better for him in the long run. It is now rare to see a snuffleupagus dick, right? If you're a girl and you're out there sucking dick, you're like, what's this snuffleupagus fucking thing coming up from me? Now, some of us are gifted and you wouldn't even know that they are not circumcised. Not all Hispanic men my age are circumcised. So you wouldn't even know when erect that there's anything different. Only when it's flaccid, you're like, it looks like a fucking worm. What the fuck's going on? So if I had a boy, just to avoid all that shit, I would absolutely circumcise the kid. Now, I'm also a believer in not altering anything that you were born with. I'm one of these guys that says, if you're not circumcised, you just educate the kid about, this is going to sound fucked up, peeling it back, cleaning it, the whole 9 yards, keeping your dick clean. But in order to avoid any weirdness, anything at all, just snip that shit. It makes life easier, trust me. Yeah, OG08GSR. It makes life easier. Just circumcise your kid. Trust me. Oh, but I don't want to vaccinate him and I don't want to chop off his dick. Chop off his dick. Chop off his dick. It's fine. Relax. EJ, thanks. I look him up. My bitch NA military don't pay me enough to boost the car yet. Alex Cadell. Okay, NA. Gotcha, Alexander Cadell. Yeah, brother. What was your question? Will the 350 manifold on 93 get? You don't even need injectors on 93, honestly. Stock injector's fine. So stock injector, save yourself some money. 350 manifold and some boostane if you want a little octane. Hey Alex, I'm currently running a pretty consistent 990 with a 137 with that 14 auto. Car is a VMP Gen 2 with an 85 millimeter pulley and a 93 with boostane. Will an 82 millimeter pulley possibly get me consistent 980s? Yes. I even like a 79 millimeter pulley with boostane. That's the lowest I would go. If you have boostane and you consistently throw an octane booster in it, I would go as low as a 79 millimeter pulley as long as you have enough injector for it. Opinion on using meth on a 19 GT 10R80 with Whipple Gen 5 and 93 pump. The thing is, injecting the meth through the rotor, right? So you're going to go, how's it going to go? You're going to go in, down, up, down. So in, down, rotors, intercooler, down, back. It's going to go, you're going to be able to make more power with it because it basically bumps up the octane. The cooling effect is probably lessened by the time it goes through all that process, unless you have a spray bar setup in the supercharger itself, making the methanol or the meth injection more efficient. So if you can get a spray bar in the blower, that's probably a good idea. If you cannot, and you're going to run it through the rotors and up the intercooler and back down, you're going to have a less effective meth injection. Alex, what drive shaft and half shaft do you recommend on a 19 10R80 car 800 wheel? If you call up GeForce Engineering, they've been great to me. They supported me on the red car. That's what was in the red car when it was badass shit. It had GeForce 1300 horsepower axles or whatever, and it had a GeForce drive shaft, and I never ever had an issue. Lund Racing has complete GeForce equipped stuff, a GeForce drive shaft, GeForce axles. None of them have ever busted on their own. We had a hub bearing break, which caused one of the spline ends to break, but the shafts on their own have never broken on their own. Would an 18 plus manifold be beneficial on a Boss 302? I don't think so. AK City speed with no need. Hey Alex, I wanted to ask your thoughts using on a wastegate smaller pulley and a Sentry as a torque booster. No, Leviathan 5.0. No. I literally had a customer today had bleed through the spring, meaning the thing bled right through and it saw like fucking 16 pounds of boost. I hate torque booster setups on centrifugal Mustangs. Take that to the bank. I don't care who sells that shit and tells me that I'm fucking up business. If you have a centrifugal Mustang, put a 3.6 pulley on it and shut the fuck up. If you have a Pro Charger, your crank's going to break anyway, so it doesn't matter. But if you have a Paxson or a Vortec, put a 3.6 pulley on it and no torque booster. Torque booster to me is bullshit. There, fuck it. I don't care. I don't care who the fuck calls my boss, because I can almost fucking guarantee he's going to get a call. And I'm going to say, dude, every torque booster I've seen bleeds right through the spring and it sees more boost than it should. So not a fan. Do I need a retune after a long tube header install? Currently Luntune 1150 CJ setup. No, you don't. FFE, love you. Free flowing exhaust. E85 Garden Gotten conflicting answers. No, you do not. Raul Lopez, our tunes are pre-configured for exhaust mods. That's what I tell people. Loose lug nuts. Wine mod on the F1A with a red blow-off valve. Wine mod. There's a wine mod? Thanks, man. The car has ID 1000 currently seeing 18 degrees of timing. I think he's talking to someone else, not me. Are you putting drag wing on the back of the Fairmont? I'm probably going to put a front splitter, then a drag wing. I don't like those big, long drag wings. I don't like them. I don't like how they look, and they're expensive. Guys, I'm not looking to spend any more money on the Fairmont. That thing, the build costs $15,000 to $20,000 already. I do not want to spend one more dime on that car because it's on a Fairmont. It's on a Fairmont. I'm not getting anything back from it. You know, if it was on like a more rare car, maybe. But honestly, no, I really don't want to put a drag wing on it. Unless the shit falls on my lap. I am not spending any. I got to put a fucking parachute on that thing, man. That's $1,000. No, it's not, Alex. Yes, it is. The mount is $300. The parachute is $500 to $600. Then the install. Oh, you can install it yourself. Fuck all that shit. Raul Lopez says, thanks. You're welcome. Does the Blue Goose use AED IRS knuckles? No, they do not. Stock OEM Ford Racing knuckles, baby. Stock shit. Stock shit. Stock shit. When are they actually needed? Never. We don't need them. We're not planning to put them on either, ever. Opinion on the Killer Chiller versus a DOB Titanic heat exchanger. I like a Killer Chiller in theory. I wish it was built a little more robust. I wish it looked better under the hood. I know it sounds stupid, but the thing is, when you're at wide open throttle, the air conditioner is not kicking. It's meant to not be on at wide open throttle, but it has already cooled your intercooler water already down to like 70, 80 degrees. So by the time you're done with the pull, it should be enough. So I like it in theory. But I've actually thought about it because I live in Florida. But in order to buy that, put it in, again, I'm putting it in a Fairmont. But I like it in theory. I like that the Demons come with one or a version of a Killer Chiller that they have themselves, and IATs are not an issue for that car. So in theory, I do like them very much. Thoughts on the wine mod? If that's drilling a hole in your cold air intake and pumping the sound into the cabin, that is the gayish. It is gayer than roll racing. The wine mod is gayer than roll racing. Hey, look at me, Jennifer Aniston or J-Lo. Boy, Timothy Fush, good one. I hate to say it, but J-Lo, I hate her, man. I don't like her because she reminds you of every stupid Puerto Rican bitch I ever grew up with. She's got that face, like, what the fuck you looking at? Shut up. But yeah, Jennifer Lopez out of those two. I'm a retard. Port to boost reference going into the fuel regulator. I think they're talking to someone else. Will a Boss Manifold fit my LS motor? Asking for a friend. I'm reading it like he is typing it. Hey, Alex, what do you think about the S197 3-valve? I hate 3-valve as an engine. I like the S197 body style. They just need a Coyote in it. I like a Blackjack. If you can get a built illuminated 3-valve with a 2.3, like a Blackjack or a, what's the other one called? The Hammer? A Roush Hammer or a Roush Blackjack? Badass shit. I love a Blackjack and I love a Hammer. Love those cars. They're great. Where's Matt 760 and what did you give him? He's real helpful, actually, and straightforward, as are you, Alex. Just supporting the channel. Thank you very much. And looks like you paid twice. You done fucked up, brother. I love you. Yeah, Matt760 has literally steered more NA customers to me because he is out there gapping everybody. And guess what I did to his car? I gave him our production file. His car just happens to really like it. I don't want to call it a factory freak, but I think his car just really likes our production file. Here you go. Here's some extra timing. Here's drag mode, which drag mode is basically we do not let the car reduce torque on shifts. So don't expect that bitch to drive good at WAP, but it's going to be like, wah, bah, bah. It's going to slam in gear and it's not going to cut any spark and pop, 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 pop. You know, it's going to really roll out. So Matt 760 has drag mode and the production file with the 85 with a little more timing, and that's it. I could literally give you his file if you have the same car. I can go, here you go. And that's what I did, like 3 files last week. Like I need Matt 760. Where is he? Where is he? Matt 760. Yeah, I need Matt 760's tune. Oh, your car's the same year? Here's his drag mode tune. Bye. Oh, it runs great. See ya. Done. It's the same production file. Trust me. Here we go. Never watched your... Jack Marty says, I never watched your live before. This is great. Thanks, Jack Marty. I appreciate that very much. Why is roll racing gay? It's not gay. I just said that because of the wine mod. Roll racing is a necessary evil, in my opinion. You want my opinion on roll racing? I love dig racing. I think setting up a car, a suspension properly, and setting it up to be on a shitty prep road and for it to launch well takes a lot of skill. Roll racing takes less skill, but if you have like 1,000+ horsepower car, it's as equally tough to launch it from a 60-year-old. Trust me, it's not easy. I wouldn't say equally as tough. It is nothing's harder than getting a car out of the hole with shitty prep. So that was my preference. My preference would be to dig race. Reaction time, driver skill, all that comes into play. Roll racing is a necessary evil. In Florida, it is very difficult to come across a group of guys that dig race only. You can come across any Lambo, any R8, any McLaren on the highway and roll race pretty much all night if you want to, and you're in the right areas, or a GTR. So this area is very, very highly conducive to roll racing. So you got to kind of do what your area allows you to do. So I think it's a necessary evil. Port St. Lucie is the best place to live. You're psycho. You've been to Port St. Lucie? Ain't shit up there, man. Lewis, he said Port St. Lucie is the best place to live. YouTube Corrupt Anti-Free Speech says, Alex, the winter blend ethanol in North Carolina only tests 75 most of the time. If it tests 85 plus in the spring, summer, would I need two separate tunes for the seasons? Honestly, YouTube Corrupt, I don't think so, because 75% ethanol is going to trim out about 5 to 7% or so from an E85 tune. So your trims are going to be slightly rich. So instead of 1.0 at watt, it'll be like 0.93. Fuck it, right out. And if you get E85, you'll be right on the money. So I really don't want to start making E75, E76, E78 tunes. Just fucking roll out on the E85 tune. Did I miss the demonology story? Yeah, basically, I saw him run a Cobra Jet, and it made me a fan. It made me a fan. It made me like him. It made me like his personality. It made me like his story. It made me like how he came across. He is not a typical YouTuber. He has a supportive wife. He's an adult. He just likes to race. And I'm like, damn, I like him. Shit. I was like, I don't want to like any YouTuber, right? Because I don't even want to consider myself a YouTuber, because that's like, it has like a negative connotation. But when I saw him go out drag racing with his drag racing coach in the Cobra Jet, it made me go, it made me cheer for him. I mean, badass. He's like, I want a Cobra Jet now. And I'm like, awesome. He's just a bro. He just wants to race. Alex, how can you make the Terminators easier to tune? Torn between an 03 or an 07 GT500. They're not hard to tune. They just take more time. They just take a little more time than a Coyote. So a lot of people go, oh, you're not real tuners because you don't tune Cobras. No, we're business, man. We're business. So if you got 5,000 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower Coyotes, and I can tune those within 3 or 4 revisions, but I'm still slamming slopes and scaling the 03 Cobra Cal and then diagnosing a bad fuel pump and a broken tube in the fuel pump, or telling you, oh, you got the wrong, you got the wrong sensor. You got to put the high boost and you got to put the stock sensor at the end of the tube. And it's just like, holy shit, no, thank you. And I'm dealing with basically what? A 16-year-old car at this point. No. I'm not saying no, like I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying it's going to take me a lot longer time. An 07 GT500 is way easier to tune. It's a newer car and it makes great power for what it is. So if I had to choose out of those two, an 07 GT500, trust me, the 07 GT500 drives a lot better than any Cobra will. Alex, ¿te gustan los mollas? I don't know what mollas is. Johnny 50. If that's a Mexican term, I don't know what the fuck that is. Alex, dating channel topic, testosterone, how to naturally increase or maintain. Damn, I don't really know, honestly, unless you're eating certain foods that allow you to, boost testosterone naturally. The Boosted Ranch says, hey, Alex, do you recommend a boosted pump on a 14 GT with a 100 and 150 shot with nitrous with 80-pound injectors. 80-pound injectors, get those fucking injectors. I don't recommend any of those fucking injectors. Fuck all that. No, thank you. I would do like a MU52, not an 80-pound injector. Fucking 80-pound injector on coyotes. Fuck all that. Lay off the sauce, Johnny. Yeah, I like muted Johnny. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. He was just like spamming my shit. On a 2013 GT with a VMP Gen 2R, 75mm pulley and pump 93. Okay, that's wrong right there. 75mm pulley and pump 93? Nope, that is wrong. The lowest pulley it goes to 79, and that's barely good enough for the 93 is barely good enough for that pulley. So you better pulley up. You have it at 22 degrees right now. Fucking 93 octane. You're gonna blow your shit up. You're gonna blow it right the fuck up, brother. Trust me. 22 degrees at wide open throttle on 93 octane with a 75mm. You better be at altitude, bro. You better be at fucking 8,000 feet. Fuck that. You're gonna blow that bitch up. Bet that. Boy, people, this guy just keeps spamming. It's like, hey, Alex, does mom know you're gay? I just put him on timeout. Aaron Brown says, should I buy a twin turbo daily, my 1910 R80 GT, or buy a C5 as a secondary vehicle before throwing turbos in my 19? I wouldn't daily drive any turbo car unless you want to be under the hood all the time, tightening clamps. No, thank you. What's up, Alex? I smoked a stock Miata in my Hellcat this morning. Felt good. So what's the best blower for a 3-valve? I like the 1.9 or the M90. The M90, which is, make about 400 wheel, and the 1.9, which is a TVS upgrade to the M90, or a 2.3 with a massive plate for a pulley, like a big fucking pulley. 22 degrees on pump. You're psycho. McLovin says Roush 2.3 kit for F-150 uses stock injector and fuel supply. Is that correct, or is it safer to upgrade the injector and a booster pump? No, they use a LU-47. They don't use a stock injector, I don't think. They use an LU-47 injector for an F-150 2.3 kit, but the lowest pulley you can go is an 85mm. If you want to pulley down, you're going to run out of injector pretty soon thereafter that, depending on elevation. The Boosted Ranch says, what do you think about the modular head shop in Orlando? I don't have any experience with them, so I don't know one way or the other. I'm sorry, but the Boosted Ranch, I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I haven't dealt with them with Coyote applications. Would the limiter stop valves from contacting the pistons on the stage 3 cams, in your opinion? Yes. Tyler says, just got an Edelbrock stage 2.8 rib, 3.25 pulley. Jesus, 3.25 pulley is small. Long tubes 4, E85 Gen 3. What could I expect to see horsepower-wise? So I made 850 on a 3.0. 850 on a 3.0, and that is on a Gen 2 motor with 11-to-1 compression. You have 12-to-1 compression, so you might be well into the 800 range if you have the bigger throttle body. Nastang 87LX tells you testosterone tips: avoid sugar, eat cruciferous veggies, eggs, red meat, pork, garlic, berries, vitamin D to try to stay away from gluten if you can, but not required. Weightlifting and cardio. He's right. There you go. I'm a jet ski racer. I grew up around water sports. What's the best way to get into motorsports? Apparently with me, talk shit. That's the way I got into this shit. I talked a lot of shit and I got into it. But honestly, working for a shop in the sales position basically seems to be the best way. A lot of people start their career at a place that sells parts. Then you get well-versed on the parts, their applications, and what they fit. And then that will lead you... That'll at least tell you, okay, I like this field and I want to delve into it, and then you can kind of parlay. You got to start from the bottom, basically. And sales seems to be the entry level, and then you can work your way up the ladder, and then eventually stem off on your own, which seems to be the thing to do, and start your own deal or work for a hot rod shop after you get some chops, basically. Lewis says, Port St. Lucie is very cheap for a reason, and very, very nice living and not too far from West Palm. It's 50 minutes from West Palm. It's an hour. Guess what else is an hour from me? Miami. I am not moving to Port St. Lucie. It is very cheap for a reason. Have you looked around? Have you gone like this and gone, yeah, it's not ugly. It's not bad, but it is not nice. Let's just say that. Bechotazo, Gallo Bravo. Alex, I can't have anything stock. What would be a good setup for 11 F-150 5.0 NA 4x4? Oh, shit. A Roush kit will be nice. I would do a Roush kit. Look, I'm a big boost proponent when it comes to that stuff. A Roush kit on that will definitely wake it right up, but I'm not going to tell you to put a Cobra Jet in it in stage 3 cams because it's not going to make that big of a difference. Gen 2 is different because the trucks are lighter and the motors are just that much better. Terrence Jackson, you keep saying 2020 Mach 1. What do you want me to say about the 2020 Mach 1? There's nothing new about the 2020 Mach 1. Pat the One says, Alex, hash brown bacon cheeseburger. Call the Guy Fieri or the cardiologist. Hash brown bacon cheeseburger. Call the Guy Fieri or the cardiologist. The Guy Fieri. Oh, hash brown bacon cheeseburger. God damn, that sounds awful. Or delicious. Who knows? 35 minutes. My ass, 35 minutes. I dated a girl that was in Port St. Lucie. 50 minutes. Unless you're leaving like at 2 in the morning when there's no traffic and you're going 80 miles an hour. I know you aren't a fan of the ProCharge, but I'm thinking of going to Sentry to maintain the stock drivability. Can you explain the difference between Vortec and ProCharger? Honestly, I do that tongue in cheek. ProCharger and the Vortec will tune similarly. ProCharger, if you have a stage, you have a stage 1 or a stage 2 intercooler, and the MAF is in the intercooler a lot of times. They've gotten smart and started giving you the option, put the MAF in the charge pipe, and that would be the way I would do it, similar to how Vortec and Paxson does it. The ProCharger, I think the P1X, the D1X, they have a bunch of different models, right? They have a bunch of different models, whereas Paxson has the 2200, and that bitch will make 800, 900, no problem. I don't know what the D1 makes, what the P1 makes, what the P1X, D1X, F1. I don't know. I don't care because I'm not a fan, but I think drivability will be similar. They'll both make a lot of power. One of them mounts differently than the other. I think the ProCharger mounts off to the side of the driver, whereas the Vortec and Paxson mount on the passenger side, and it's a little tough to get the belt in and out of, and I think the ProCharger is a little easier to put the belt, to mess with the belt if you had to. You must be past Okeechobee. You must meet past Okeechobee. No, I'm north of Okeechobee. It's at least 50 minutes to Port St. Lucie West. I'm not saying Palm City. I'm saying Port St. Lucie West. Boom, that exit. It is 50 minutes from my house. Alex, I'm coyote swapping my 06 Winville Blue 6er like Brent Speed did, but more daily oriented. Would it be cost effective to transfer everything from a salvage GT or crate engine away from PBH? I do a crate engine from PBH because the labor alone from taking everything out and then making it all work in that one is going to be a fucking nightmare. Could you do a video on 101 drag racing? I did. If you look back. Look, I'm not an expert. So the moment I make a video how to drag race, I'm just going to get, oh, you're doing that wrong. You're doing this wrong. But I can definitely give you tips and tricks as to how to prepare yourself to go drag racing. I might be able to do that. So maybe I'll do that in the future, but I'm not really looking to like teach people how to drag race because I'm the last guy that you'd want to learn drag racing from. I mean, look, I'm responsible and all that stuff, but honestly, I don't think it requires a video. Alex, I'm done with living in California. Any tips for someone wanting to move out of state? Just do it, man. You're going to struggle for the first couple of years anywhere else you end up. I struggled in Houston mightily. I struggled so bad in Houston. And once I got to West Palm and I got single, that's when things started to open up and really, you got to end up somewhere where you're happy. And West Palm just made me happy. The area, the beaches, the food, the cars. So I made it work. Houston was not my scene. So I was miserable there for the year that I was there. So I would just take the dive and do it. Wherever you want to end up, look for a job there. Look at, visit the area if you can swing it, fly in for a weekend, check it out, and check out the regular spots. Don't go to the touristy spots. Check out everything that is normal and just blasé about the area. Because if you go to the downtown area or the beach or this and that, it's going to make you go, whoa. And then you don't live anywhere near it. And you're going to be like, oh, I thought living here would be cool, but I live in the fucking dump. Yeah. Shannon Dugan says, hey, Alex, going 65? I'm turning 3,000 RPMs. It's a turbo small block Ford C4 373 and a 26-inch tire. If I step up to 28 small tires, will my RPMs drop? Yeah. Will your RPMs drop at 65 mile an hour? Yes. RPMs will drop as long as your converter isn't too loose. Hey, Alex, I have an 18 auto-tuned and tuned cold air only on pump gas. Not noticing a difference at the track. Is it the tune or my car is just a pig? It's not the tune. It's more than likely if you upgraded your cold air intake and now you're sucking in hotter air at the 60 foot, it's not performing any better. Why not do this, Gio? Put the stock cold air back in it and tell them to tune you for a stock cold air, but still have an aftermarket tune, meaning more timing, and run good to great fuel and go back out to the track with the stock cold air. If you go faster, you know what the problem was. All right, I'm going to start getting going because I've been on for almost 2 hours. Who owned the 1314 GT with the peanut butter seats in your older videos? Alex Cadell. My ex-girlfriend did. Her name was Sabrina. She ended up selling that for a mommy mobile. Fucking Suburban? Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like, that was a nice car. I would have tried to buy it, but that was a nice car. I like that car. That was a minty car. It was the red candy clear coat tinted color with the peanut butter interior, and it had the premium audio system, and it was bone stock except with a PMAS cold air intake. I would have bought that car in a heartbeat, but she sold it for a mommy mobile, so that's it. It's gone. It's somewhere. Same question as the F-150 guy, except for a 6.2 Raptor. Sell that shit. Dude, it's a 6.2 Raptor. Love you. It's a 6.2 Raptor. A tune, a cold air, and some headers, but you're going to pay $3,000 for something that you're going to barely feel. Love you, but the 6.2 Raptor is a dud unless you put a blower on it. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have done amazing today. I've had almost 700 guys watching at the same time. You guys supported the channel. This is the most money I've ever has been donated to the channel. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to make sure I put it to good use and buy some equipment, get you more videos of the Fairmont rolling, and just upgrade this bullshit. Do whatever to keep the channel going forward. For those of you that follow That Dating channel, I will be on Thursday, 8:30, and we're just going to talk dating, talking shit about, dating and going out and all this stuff. So I appreciate you guys tuning in for all the support. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you.